Okay guys, so let's try to make one video of the Berg axle that I built with 3D printed parts and carbon fiber tubes. So what I have here is the parts that you need, and this one here is an example, but this is a little bit different. So I have two options for this, but we'll get back to this one later. So, build of materials, what do you need? Well, let me grab the GoPro. Well, you need the 3D printed parts. They come all together, so we have to take them apart, which is actually a bit satisfying. At least I like to do that. We need two carbon fiber tubes. So let's see if you can see the size. Short one, a long one. So these are 8 by 12 millimeters, and the long one is 8 by 12 by 104.2, and then 8 by 12, 58.8. These are the carbon tubes. You're going to need 4 brass inserts, M3 by 3 millimeters, and then the OD is, I think, 4.1 millimeters outside diameter, something like that. One M3 by 6, but if you don't want to use this one, I have them in stock, so it's not a big deal. You can also use a small one. And now it's all the flavors in the world. One M3 by 20, one M3 by 18, one M3 by 14, one M3 by 10, one M3 by 8. And yeah, that's about it. So first things first, let's grab one of these and take it apart. Yeah, so all the parts are now here. They are clean. I try to put these supports in places where you will not really see them once everything is assembled, or in places that's kind of hidden away, or they will just be hard to see. More of a static thing, because if you print these ones in color, they will the these supports will be white, because the shapeways parts are dyed. So if it's solid, it's not dyed on the inside, so it's white. And in these ones, they are the MJF style. They are actually black inside. Yeah, it's not a problem if, for example, you go for MJF and then with the dyed black, because then it will be full black. I'm cheap. I buy just the ordinary one, and but I add, like, for example, this part is the support is here, and this will be covered by actually this side. So same for these two dots, and here will be the motor. These two dots, it will be covered. Anyway, that's the idea. So let's try and start putting the inserts, and like always, let's start with the hardest one. And the hardest one is on the short case, and I don't know if you can see it. I'll show here on the GoPro, and it is right there. Okay, right there. Now I've built a few of these, not too many to be honest, and I changed this to be a bit bigger, so let's try and see if it just presses in. Mhm. There we go. So I think you can see now at this. I don't know if it's out of focus. This is right there now. And yeah, everything is aligned. So that's done. Okay, so it was not that hard. Now we'll close the gearbox, and there is a little ridge here on the inside that needs to match this one. So especially on the first time that you press this on, it can be quite a struggle. So let's try that. You can enjoy watching me struggle. There we go. Oh, not so bad. So there you go. You see, it's already hard to take them apart because it just interlocks, everything interlocks. So there we go. So as you can see, like, there is a rib here all the way around that just locks here. So hopefully this is how I think it's the way to go, because everything interlocks together and it just works. Now the 6mm goes here, and actually this one went in too nice. It's not how it's supposed to be. Let's see if it was a problem of the insert that was a bit under, or if it was the printing and the hole is a bit too big than what it should. Let's see. Definitely the insert was not the best. So as you can see, I just put a screw in so I can have a bit more leverage. And then what we can do is add a bit of super glue. There we go. And hopefully this will do like this. Some people like to put this with soldering iron. Me, not so much. I'll put also on this one that I already installed a bit of super glue. Yeah, I think also epoxy would probably be better because it's just thicker and it doesn't go inside the threads, because sometimes the super glue is so thin that just works itself inside the threads, and then it's a bit of a pain to get loose, to get the screws in. So this is here, this is there, patati patata, and there we go, together. So the M3x8 goes here. I need to open this again, but you know how it is. Okay, don't over tighten it, because this is just to not allow for the gearbox to open here. So you don't have to be so tight, just put a dab of thread lock on the screw, the small part, and that's it. Now we will put the other inserts, and they will go, so these three, they will go, hopefully you are seeing, yeah, they will go down here, and here, and here. So the way we can do this is with a bigger screw, not so big, at least not for this one, and a washer. So you just put like a normal 3mm washer You put it inside, you put it here, and then you reach the bottom, thread it some more, so you kind of break the plastic, because you don't want the plastic to have threads. Okay, and now you basically put one here and start screwing it in, and basically just goes in. Again, a bit of super glue. There you go. Tighten it. Done. Remove. Some people like the electrical drills, something like that. I'm not a big fan. Takes the joy out of this. It leaves some marks, but this will be covered, so it's not a huge deal, and it's the best way, in my opinion, at least. If you have better technique, good, use it. So this again, so that's done. All the inserts are now in. Now, carbon tubes. These are, so now let's talk shafts. The shafts for this axle are the deluxe 7075 aluminium shafts, okay, 8 millimeters. And this is the setup that I have on my rig currently, and it uses, this is a standard size Berg locker and the 7075 shafts. I think that deluxe 7075 shafts, they come, well, yeah, I think they still come with original sized, standard size Berg locker. So you cannot use the what do you call, super lights, obviously, because it's a different size. The locker on the super lights is a bit shorter. So standard size, any Berg gears, the low ratio deluxe gears, they will be a tight fit, but they will fit. And yeah, now the hardest tube to get in is the long one, because it's a long piece of plastic. So we have two options, or we have a 12 millimeter reamer, or we don't have a reamer and we just use the carbon tube. If you use a reamer, it's much sorry, pardon me, it's much easier, and you just have to ream a little bit, but it can create some slop. So what I like to do is get some tape, some masking tape, and so this allows you to have some grip, and probably I will need to use the vise. Not that I am a big fan of it, but that's how I did it on this axle. Works like a charm, because if you use pliers, at least from my experience, if you use pliers, eventually the pliers will go down to the carbon fiber, and it's just a visual thing, but it will leave some marks. So with this, with at least you have now some grip, and you just go and you take it out, because it's very hard to see. There's still some kind of leftover plastic and stuff like that, so you need to work your way in and out like so. It's quite hard to do this, so your hands will take a beating, and after a while, yeah, doesn't go further. I don't know if I can take it out. No. So if I cannot take it out, I'll just dip it some more. And we move to the vise. Alright, so in the vise, you just put it like so, tighten it, be careful not to crush, the carbon tube. Okay, and now let's try to see. Just rotate and push it. So now I want to open it and see if I reach the bottom. The long side tube is, yeah, the hardest. And now we'll see the carbon tube is right there on the edge. Let's see. Yeah, so the carbon tube is all in and it's done. Now we take the tape out and that's it. So carbon fiber is not damaged, just has some glue leftovers, and that's it. So this is the hardest one. The front is not so difficult, and yeah, now that's that. So now we go for the 58.8 millimeters long tube. If you prefer aluminium or aluminum or whatever you want is your flavor of aluminium, you can use it as well, same size. So 8 ID by 12 OD, and the aluminium would hold the threads better. This one, as you can see, it's as easy as that. So it's done. So these holes here, okay, these holes, all of them, and even on this side, they are 2.5 millimeters, and this is where the threads will hold on the plastic, not so much on the carbon fiber. So you have, especially on this one, this tube you'll not be able to take it out. I am pretty confident that if you'd leave this without any screws, it would not come off, because, you know, it just press fit, it doesn't come off. But just to be sure, that's why these holes are here. You have to drill very carefully with a 2.5 millimeters drill bit. Okay, you have to drill these ones, or just two if you want, because this is such a tight fit. And just put a grub screw. This will be a M3 by 6 millimeter grub screw. So you have 4 on the long tube and 3 on the short tube. The short tube for sure will need, okay, at least 2. If you don't want to put a third one, you know, fair enough. But yeah, you'll need these ones. So for this, you'll have to drill with the tube in place. For this one, you can mark, so you can go with the drill bit, even by hand with the 2.5 millimeters, go in, just mark the carbon fiber, and then, wait, if I can, now, with my injured right hand, anyway. Well, not so easy. But this, if you put some tape, it's easy to take off. No, not so good. And you can mark and drill, or you can drill in situ and just drill with it in place, and that's it. So we can close. Where is that screw? Goes in here. Be careful not to cross thread. This is important. The brass inserts, because it's easy to cross thread them, and then I think you'd be in a bit of pain and misery. So this is the M3x20 goes in here. There we go. This one is the M3x18 goes there. There we go. And this one goes here. This is M3x10. So yeah, it's not perfect that all threads are different, all bolts are different, but you know, it is what it is. So after this, you just put your link mounts, and then the bearings that go here are 12x8. I think they also come in the kit from Deluxe. You know, it will go like so, and like this. Some leftover glue. No. There we go. So yeah, basically this is the axle, the rear axle done. Then you just adjust the link mounts as you want. You know, because the reference will be the lockout, or if you don't have the lockout installed, just the end of the tube, and you have to put them the same distance, obviously. So yeah, this is what I run on my Pro car now. So I have a Bully V1 in the front and this Berg axle in the rear, and this one with the Deluxe gears and the Deluxe shafts, and also some wheel hubs 3D printed that I use. It comes down to 143 grams. That's super light. That's very nice in my opinion. And so this is one option. So standard locker, Deluxe shafts, and whichever bear gears you want. This is another option. As you can see, it's, let's try to line them up and from above. As you can see, it's a bit wider, but this one here has AR60 axles, which is nice, is another option. Because the Deluxe shafts, they are expensive and they are hard to get in Europe, so it's always nice to have a plan B. So let's call this the European version. It's a bit wider, which is not the best, but inside it has the AR60 shaft, and this locker comes from Pat. So Pat 13 sells these lockers. This here, the shaft, you see, is not on the surface. Actually, it goes in a bit more. So it's nice. It's a bit shorter. I had to grind about 1.5 millimeters out of the tang. So because there was some interference. So this is a bit wider, but very cheap because you can get these shafts very cheap. I mean, even if they are not axial, I suppose they will hold quite well, but time will tell. These are not axial. These were cheap from China. We'll see how they go. And yeah, you just need the gears. It will be wider, but you know, it is what it is, and it's just another option. If you want to go shorter, you also have the, I think is HPI, no, the Lossy trophy truck. The rear shafts, they are 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters thick all the way around. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy it.